Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Yeah, baby! Friday, we made it. We made it to Friday.
We made it. It's
Happy Friday, everybody. 90 minutes for you here on the YouTube show. At 12:30, we flip over to Channel 3 WKYC. If you're in Cleveland, watch us on broadcast. If you're elsewhere, download the WKYC Plus app and check us out streaming style. Lot to get to. We got Cavs, we got Browns, we got Guardians, we got the whole thing. I want to say really quickly, huge night last night for my son and his girlfriend. Madison Richards has advanced into the finals of the women's long jump.
Hey, let's go, Maddie.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, baby. She looked great. She looked great. There were 26. Normally the top 24 in any event get invited to the U.S. trials. Mm-hmm. Top 24 pro, amateur, everything in all the events. They take 12 to the finals. She was in 11th coming into her last jump, which is pretty, you don't want to be in 11th because you could get passed by someone who comes after you. She had a big jump, moved up to 7th. And really, all you want to do at trials is just get to the finals, and then you start thinking execution for the big jump. She's close. She's in position right now to make the Olympic team, so good luck to her. She'll jump tomorrow night in the finals. And good luck to all our Olympians. The trials have been fantastic this year.
Jay, I can't believe you
Unreal.
did that. I can't believe you came on here. You hyped us up.
I thought she had advanced to.
No. Listen, the step, when Corey made the finals in 21, it was expected. He came in ranked US 2.
Yeah. No,
so
shout out to Corey. Corey a dog, but that's not what me and G talking about.
No, we talk about we
That's not what we
about
talking
when
about.
you say shout out to Corey and his
girlfriend.
Girl, we was like, oh,
They're
either
engaged.
you engaged
No.
or you about to be another grandfather.
No.
Don't you ever start the show like that?
No, there's time for all that down the road. I give these young kids so much credit. In our day, and not your day, but in your parents, all the parents here, and my day, when you were out of college and you were in a relationship that felt good, you got married.
Yeah, it was a wrap.
And 2 years later, you had kids. I was 25, bro. I had my first child. I was 26. I was done having children.
My dad had me when he was 25.
That's kind of how it used to go. Today, they have life goals. And in Corey's case, it was making the Olympic team. Mm-hmm. Then it was securing his job as a head coach. And now Maddie is getting ready to, start her medical journey. As soon as the Olympics are over, whether she makes it or not, she starts her medical school at Rutgers the next week. They have all these big things that they want to do career-wise, where in my day it was like, yeah, let's go, man. I like you, you like me, things seem cool, let's have kids.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I have a 32-year-old brother.
Yeah.
I have a niece that'll be 18 in December.
They hang
True
out,
story.
bro.
Okay, now that's
story.
That's the advanced plan.
No, that wasn't the plans at all.
Yeah, you're right. That wasn't
I
the plan.
came home. My mother was sitting at the table drinking a glass of wine. She was listening to Mary J. Blige, I'm Not Gonna Cry. And she was crying. And I said, what's wrong? She said, your brother got a baby on the way. I laughed my ass
And how
off.
old were you at the time?
I was like 19 at the time.
And
So your younger brother.
Yeah.
And when you have your first child?
20.
She was like, I ain't gonna cry.
That's more in line.
That's
more acceptable.
Now, Earl,
That's more acceptable.
That's wild.
14.
My brother was 14.
He had his first kid when he was 19.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah.
And my joints, I'm 40.
Now you fast forward to now. My brother is one of the supervisors for Cleveland Public Library. He's been at Cleveland Public Library since he was 15. He's been in the supervisor role since he was 26.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Man.
Yeah, different life goals. But anyhow, I'm thrilled for Maddie. FaceTime with Corey. Corey's her coach. So it's extra special because Corey missed the team barely in 21, and now he's got a chance to help Maddie chase her dream.
Shout out to you, Corey.
Yeah, they work hard. Man, they work hard. The average person has no idea. They have no idea the sacrifice, They have no idea the time commitment. They have no idea the things that you have to eliminate from your life. You can't look at a cookie. Can't even look at it. Girls in absolutely incredible shape. And we're pulling for you, Mads, tomorrow night. So
she came in before, right? She was
I
here.
think she's
She
been
was
in here. Yeah, she came
to
in with
Cleveland
Corey.
At least when we threw out the first pitch. As you know, that's the first time I
You're
met
right.
her. And I think she came in for a show once as well.
It might have been around that same time. But yeah, you're right. She did.
Hey, all y'all other coaches, y'all can't get that off though. They met before that. That was like, you know what I'm saying? That was
Yes.
You can't get that off. Don't be like, yeah, I'm in a relate. No, that's not the way
doesn't
that
work
works.
that way. Nuggets, you ready for the weekend?
Yep. Going to be a good weekend, and we got a busy show, so let's dive into our first topics. A quick reminder that the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is sponsored by FanDuel. You guys know I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop, but as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games, and sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball, the official sportsbook of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And today's winning ticket comes from our guy, Matt Kolker, from earlier this week, who hit a multi-game, same-game parlay with a couple different homers. And he turned $10 into $591 because Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani all homered on the same night, and he bet on that. So shout out to Matt Kolker for a huge win there, winning $591. But Jay, we are going to start with a little bit of Cavs rookie Jaylon Tyson's comments from his opening introductory press conference yesterday. He has a huge personality. Cleveland fans and media members are going to love this guy. And he had two quotes in particular that stood out to me yesterday. So we're going to play both of those quotes, and then we're going to discuss which one is more possible as a rookie. His first quote, he was asked about what he wants to accomplish and what boxes he wants to check during his rookie season. Steve, let's hear from Jaylon Tyson.
You mentioned multiple times how you checked all the boxes in the evaluation process and that. So as you come into the NBA and this team, what part of your game do you feel that or know that you need to elevate?
I want to be an all-defensive player for rookie year. That's my goal. If I do that, now you're talking about every box being checked right there. That's every box, right? That's the biggest thing I'm going to work on. I'm going to work my tail off to be able to accomplish that goal, because when I have goals, I'm looking to set them. I'm not just setting them just to try to find a goal, you know. I'm actually trying to hit these goals. So that's my biggest goal.
So all defense is one goal. Another goal that Jaylon Tyson mentioned in his introductory press conference yesterday is being a contributor on a championship team. Steve, let's hear from the Rook.
How do you see yourself fitting in with this group that made the playoffs?
Man, I want to win a championship. Honestly, I want a ring first year. That'll be something a lot of people don't get to say that, you know. So the role piece, I just want to be a part of a winning culture. That's what I want to do. Obviously, I want to play, right? But I know that takes time. And obviously, throughout my course, I understand it takes time to be able to do that, right? So just learning how to be a professional, you know. That's the biggest thing I can say right now. I can't tell you what the future looks like because I don't know. This is new to me, right? But I'm looking forward to winning. That's the biggest thing.
He says he wants to make all defense as a rookie and be a contributor on a championship team. Earl J, which one is more likely to come true during Jaylon Tyson's rookie season?
First of all, bless his heart.
Great guy.
He won the news conference.
Yeah.
We got to get the guy a hat that fits, though.
Yeah.
And that lid was a little oversized, I believe.
I mean, but they overcompensated because he has the man bun, so it's like.
So they gave him room for the hair.
Give him a little room for this.
I love that kid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a bit naive, but that's okay. I mean, look at when LeBron had already been in the league 6 years. He went down to Miami, and in his introductory, he said, not one, not two, not three. That looked ridiculous. And he had been around the block. So naivete is fine. I
like his confidence.
I like the confidence, too.
I like it.
Do you think that either of those are, well, like to Mike's question, which of those two statements, He wants to be all defensive team or win a championship in his first year. Which are more likely to come true?
I think for me, the one that's more likely to come true is him making the all-defensive team.
Really?
Yeah, I think that that's an individual goal, right? He has no control over roster construction. He has no control. If you look at the Cavaliers as a team and how we're currently constructed, I don't really think that we're a squad that can go win the NBA championship right now, today, next year.
You don't?
I don't. But that's an individual goal that he set out, and if he works hard at it, if he puts in the work, train, and he changes whatever his technique is, and that's something that he really commits himself to, I just think it's easier to accomplish an individual goal like that when there's
That's a lofty goal.
Yeah, but there's so many variables outside of your control when it comes to winning an NBA championship.
What he plays shooting, a small forward, shooting guard, right?
He's a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you playing a 2 or 3, I'm just give him a little heads up. So one day you got Durant. The next day you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The next day you got Luka. The next day Luka and Kyrie. Then you got forget about it. We got Jalen Brunson and them boys. Then you go and you got Steph. If you playing anywhere in a backcourt where you got Tatum and Brown and Maxey, and these dudes is the dudes that you are seeing day in and day out, they gonna have some shots that you ain't gonna see. You gonna be on people the closest you've ever been in your life with a shot hand, and they still gonna hit it, and you're gonna be like, what the heck league am I in? That is the NBA. I like the fact that he wants to be a defensive player, because I think a lot of players can come in the league and they forget that you got to pick something. Draymond Green said this, like you got to pick one thing and be great at that one. Just pick it and be great. That's how you differentiate yourself. And I like the fact that he's not talking offensively right now, because he knows what it looks like offensively. He knows Donovan Mitchell and all these guys are going to get shots. He's not. But that's not happening. All defensive teams, you got to get a lot of playing time. You got to get minutes. You got to be impactful, and you got to be getting minutes on a championship team. To do it as a rookie, I say no. Think about how great Evan Mobley was defensively, and he didn't even win it. Right?
Sure.
So I think the closest that they could possibly come to is a championship. And like Earl said, that's like a 5%, 4% chance if they maximize free agency and get all the trades they need. So I think I'm going to go with the championship. I just don't. It's too hard to crack the lineup when you're a rookie.
I'm a little more optimistic on the championship than 4 or 5%. Let's review. The Cavs played this defending, now they are the defending world champion Boston Celtics as close as anybody. Now, there's not a consolation prize for that, and it doesn't mean you're the second best team, but they also did so, and I know that Boston was missing a piece in Porzingis, but they did so without Jared Allen for the entire series and without their clearly leader and best player in the deciding game, in Game 5. So, after watching the playoffs and taking a deep breath and seeing what the Cavs have done since their season ended, they fired their coach. We all thought that was necessary. They brought in a guy who is known for player development. In fact, we've had people come on this show. Fanta came on here and said, elite develop guy, elite. He has studied under, I think, the guy that is arguably if not the best coach in the NBA, top 3 in Steve Kerr.
I would agree with that.
So he's been in the lab with the genius. Now we've got him. And what we've said constantly, especially after the disappointment from 2 years ago when they lost to the Knicks, what we've said is, you can't run this back. We need a new voice. We need a new message. We need a new point on the horizon. We have that now. So when you take everything into account, they played the Celtics as well as anybody. And they did it with missing pieces. They've changed what everybody thought was probably the biggest issue with this team in the head coach. And I hope I'm not speaking for everybody on the panel, but I think that's what that was our consensus. I think JB was the guy that had to be changed.
But I also think that you have core pieces on this team that need to be changed too.
And that's fair. That's why I said the guy that I thought was the biggest piece that we all agreed upon. Before you do anything with the roster construction, I think we all agreed you need a new voice in the room. They have that. And by all accounts, he's a guy who can develop. We need that because Evan Mobley is the elephant in the room. His development will determine whether or not the Cavaliers can make a championship run with this roster. I don't know what percentage I'd place on it. 10 maybe?
I would have won.
But I'm going to give them more than 4 or 5.
I would have won with 10 if I wouldn't have saw what the Knicks just did.
Well, now that's a different. Look, we can only control what we can control. I mean,
Right?
if you saw Stephen A's tweet from yesterday, he thinks that the Knicks have won the championship already. I will say this, though. Oftentimes, moves like that everyone thinks is going to change the power structure in a conference, they rarely do. Sometimes they do. Is this the guy that's going to change the power structure in the East? He's a piece, and he's a piece they need, and he fits with the rest of the puzzle pieces. But I'm still not ready to say that Boston's anything but the favorite coming back in the East. The other thing I would say in this discussion is if I'm going to handicap this young man's potential to be first team all NBA defense, I'm not putting that on the board. I don't think he has. Mike, am I wrong? Like, I love his confidence. I wish he would have said, over the course of my career, at some point, I'm going to make an all-NBA defense team. But the first year, is he going to start?
No, he won't start. No.
How are you going to make the all-NBA defensive team if you're not starting?
I mean, it's very difficult, yeah.
So what would you handicap his chances of making the all-defensive team?
I mean, I think realistically speaking, both are extremely low chances of happening.
But which one is higher? If you're Vegas and you've got to set odds here.
I would actually probably say winning a title is slightly higher because I think the Cavs, despite having roster flaws, it's not a perfect roster by any means.
No, it's not.
And other teams certainly being above them in the pecking order right now.
Right.
It would be less surprising to me to see the Cavs gel in a way we haven't envisioned yet and winning a championship at
Well, we did see it, though,
maybe
Mike.
7 or 8%.
We saw them gel last year.
No, that's actually probably high.
Oh, that's real.
7 or 8%.
Okay.
And I think a guy coming off
I
the
don't
bench
think you can give him a 1% chance of getting all-NBA defense.
I would say 3 or 4% tops.
Wow, that blows me away that you would say this kid has a 3 or 4%
Well,
chance.
because defense is more effort than it is skill.
I understand that, but you can't give effort if you're sitting on the bench.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's very low. But when he is on the court, and listen, Jaden Daniels made all defense last year. He played 28 minutes a game, so you don't have to be playing 45 minutes a game.
No, but do you see him getting 28 minutes a game on this team?
Off the bat, no, and probably not. But let's not pretend that if he comes in and plays well, there aren't minutes at the position he plays.
Oh, no.
Certainly up for grabs.
That's a fair point, and that's a good point. I like that point.
But I mean,
the opportunity for him is there.
Exactly.
I have one question. I wasn't here after the draft, so I didn't talk to you about this. Put my mind at ease on the 3 teams in 3 years.
He talked about it yesterday.
I know he did. I didn't like his answers.
I don't have all the exact details.
Right.
But
and there's probably 2 sides to all 3 stories.
And Jason gave us a little more context on it yesterday, and I hope I'm repeating this how he said it, but he committed to Texas first. Mm-hmm. Then there was the whole Chris Beard situation.
Yep.
So then he goes to Texas Tech. If I'm remembering exactly what Jason said, the coach at Texas Tech and him didn't see eye to eye, and there were some words exchanged, and then he went to Cal where he got under Mark Madsen and then flourished. So the first transfer was coach leaves. All right, I committed to Chris Beard. He's out. I want to go play for a different coach because the head coach that recruited me is no longer at Texas. And then it's really one transfer.
So how many alarm bells are going off for you on the transfer, the second transfer to Cal? Words were exchanged, didn't see eye to eye with the coach.
Oh, you were here yesterday. Jason, I don't want to say something I'm not 100% on.
I get it.
Ask Jason, but apparently there was something said that
because he seems to be a great citizen,
a coach
doesn't
have
he?
said.
Yeah.
You were here yesterday.
Jason alluded to it. I think a couple other people had alluded to it that reported on this, but when he was wherever he was, there was a racial incident that took place that prompted him to transfer immediately. And then, how he ended up at Cal, he followed whatever coach that went to Cal, and he had a breakout season.
Well, Madsen was highly recommended
by one of his teammates.
Texas Tech,
yeah.
And so I get that. Look, there might be absolutely nothing to it at all. It's just, it's one thing that I'm sure the Cavs had to dig into because there are alarm bells. I think his explanation, it was Kobe's explanation was, well, that's college today. That's the NIL. You can do that. But not everybody transfers 2 times in 3 years.
Here's where I come out on it. Look, I try to look at this, and this is the way I do with draft picks. This is just what but everybody has, and I tweeted this. Everybody has their thoughts about who they would have taken at that situation or wherever what they would have picked, right? For me, I always say you should get an opportunity to prove what your game is looking like. So whatever you was doing before, that don't matter no more. We about to see what your game talking about right now, starting that summer league. So I'm going to give you an opportunity. I ain't going to sit up here and be like, oh, my goodness, this guy can't play. I don't like this. There's a lot of different things that you're like, okay, well, I would have wanted a different route. But at the end of the day, I give you the benefit of the doubt and go out there and prove what your game is.
So you've opened your mind because the night of the draft, you were like, he's just a guy.
I mean, listen, to me, I think the thing that stands out to me is like they won like 2 games. They had a bunch of walk-ons.
Yeah.
He has the ball in his hand at all times.
Right.
He gets to shoot. He does a lot of things. And I always said, when you are playing, the best time of my life is when I was a sophomore playing varsity sports because there's no expectations.
Sure.
Money. It's house money. I'm good. I don't got to play well. I ain't going to get no shots. But if I put up 16, that's great. That's nice. But if I put 16 up and I'm the man, you got a problem.
Yeah.
So my thought was, hey, there's some different things. I do like some of the parts of this game. You can shoot a little bit. But, hey, it's about seeing what you're going to do. The Summer League is coming very quickly. If you want that Defensive Player of the Year award,
I like how he talks.
Get ready.
I really like how he talks. I think like
I do too.
See it, speak it, believe it. And
Sure.
I think that when you kind of speak positivity into existence, good things happen.
I agree with that
And
100%.
When you come out off the bat
I've
talking
seen you
about
do that in your life, Earl.
there it is.
I've
right?
seen it.
So when you come out off the bat and you say, hey, I want to win a championship as a rookie. I want to make the NBA all-defensive team. Understanding what your Achilles heels is, defense. Understanding what parts of your game that you need to work on. Things like that. It says that this man is self-aware. It says that he is very confident. He also said in that news conference yesterday that, when he went to Cal, he expected to have a breakout season. And he did so. This is a dude that Koby Altman said when he came in and he did his workout, he took his workout very, very serious. And he used words like love and passion when he described like his relationship with basketball.
That's what it has to be.
And I think all of us that's sitting on this panel can relate to that. When you really, really love something, it's something that you would do when you're in your worst mood. And if they're not even paying you for it, you'll probably still do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how much he seems to love the game. And when you get somebody like that on this team that already has that mindset and that attitude, and you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell in your locker room, it's only going to help this dude develop and grow. And you said something about Kenny Atkinson, elite player development.
Yeah.
That's why I believe his self-confidence plus willing to work plus the coach that's willing to develop can get him to the point that you want to be at on the defensive side of the ball.
Before we wrap this, I don't think anybody would disagree with this. The kid won the news conference.
He did.
I mean,
he did.
I thought he did. Mike, how did you think he did? Do you think he
crushed it?
I thought he's very likable.
Yeah,
he's
he
a
is.
very easy to root for, and let's hope the Cavs have something here because they need something here.
Well, Kobe did say that when he looked at him as in comparison to what this team needs at pick 20,
right?
He has an NBA body, a guy that can step in and can contribute right away. And so I think, like Mike said, he has the opportunity. He won't start off getting many minutes, but I think he has an opportunity to earn a lot of playing time. And if he handles his business, I think everybody in the city would be happy.
I think if he does get playing time, I think this is the kind of guy that can quickly become a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Just because you know he's going to give Max Everett. Look how we got our teeth into Dellavedova. Why? Because that dude would run through a brick wall for
like
a loose
Andy.
ball.
Think about Andy.
Exactly.
Like when Andy was here.
And I think he has all of the characteristics to become a spark plug off the bench at first and a real fan favorite and a guy that can give his lineup a jolt when he comes into the game. All right, Mike.
Yeah, if you want to see more on the pick of Jaylon Tyson, we did a little film breakdown. It is on our YouTube channel under the Ultimate Cavs playlist, so make sure you guys tune in. We looked at his strengths, his weaknesses, how he fits into the Cavs offense, and all that, so make sure you guys check it out on our YouTube page. Jay, you talked about finding contributors to this roster, and last season, the Cavs found an undrafted free agent gem in Craig Porter Jr., who then signed a full-time NBA contract earlier this season. After last night's draft, the Cavs agreed to terms with DJ Burns, the MVP essentially of the NCAA Tournament. to be a Summer League contributor, and hopefully, if he progresses and finds a spot on the team, a future member of the Cleveland Cavaliers NBA squad. Earl GJ, do you think Koby Altman may have struck gold again and found another diamond in the rough with DJ Burns?
Now, I'm going to preface this.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to preface this real quick.
See Emoni Bates part 2?
Well, listen, I was just going to say this. Look, you can't be a diamond in the rough if you don't give people an opportunity.
Right.
So it's great that Porter was, we found Porter, but you didn't play him. We went all veteran style. We went all veteran during the year. We didn't give anybody an opportunity to show me. Now Sam Merrill, who's a little older, got in on the act a little bit, and they started playing him a little bit. So I won't give him diamond in the rough. So he got to transition these players to playing meaningful minutes in games. I'll start with that. But first, I like DJ Burns. I like him. I like his game. He reminds me of a big baby. He reminds me of kind of a throwback. There's Kenneth Lofton is a guy from Memphis that I liked, who played for Louisiana. I like the fact that this guy has a big body, soft touch around the basket.
Has he lost weight?
Oh, tremendous amount.
He has lost a lot. He actually worked out for NFL teams.
Right.
After the season ended, before the NBA draft process
Does that concern you? His game was, I thought his game was predicated on his body.
Well, Zach Randolph used to be a guy that was a guy that didn't have a huge body, got smaller, and was able to finish. Kevin Love is a guy that, still knew how to use his body, but got smaller from his bigger. To me, it was very smart, because now in this pace and space game, you got to be able to move up and down the floor. Yeah. And the only question I have is, all right, what is your position? And what happens when you got to guard stretch fours, or you have to be extended out past, 10 feet from the basket?
Yeah, because this isn't the NCAA anymore.
This ain't the NCAA where you can come dribble the ball and back people down 45 times.
No.
So, but here's the thing. Like, I talk to McNuggets all the time. It's like, but can you give me 6 to 8 minutes? Can you give me 6 to 8 minutes where you could come in, get a couple fouls, some rebounds, a couple putbacks? I remember Leon Poe made Leon Poe made a whole lifestyle out of doing that.
He did.
Right? So can you give me something like that? I think he will be very entertaining to watch.
I agree with
in
that.
The Summer League. And by the way, Summer League is much watched this year. You got Emoni Bates. You got the Mobleys coming back. You got DJ Burns. You got this new dude from Cal with the man bun.
Championship or bust.
Hey, listen, championship
or bust.
We really trying to go back to back.
Back to back.
That's what we talking about.
I don't even. That kind of makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, we ordered.
He chipper, but it's kind of like we about to win this play-in.
Hey, listen. Hey, this boy, this about to be crazy.
I'll say this. I think Koby Altman does a pretty good job of identifying raw talent. Like G said, what you do when you get that talent on this roster is a whole other thing. So I think he gets an opportunity to show what he can do when he gets to Summer League.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who will be coaching that Summer League team, but it'll be interesting. I go back to what we talked about in the first segment. Kenny Atkinson, elite player developer. Okay, this is a guy that has talent. He's raw. Like, he has a lot of athleticism. I always struggle to say that word. But I think that if he can prove something during Summer League and he actually, makes this roster, listen, I'm banking on what I've been told. Atkinson and the staff he develops can develop players. We all know that this dude can ball. We all know that he can hoop. He's a raw talent. He can be a guy that if he makes this team, hopefully he can serve a role. But I wouldn't expect anything outside of that. Koby, it's kind of like when you would do I'm gonna use G right here. Like, sometimes you know how to get the girls, sometimes you don't know how to keep them. Not saying G don't know how to keep them, but
hey, I've had.
I think that was a low key backhanded compliment.
Like seriously, like you can identify something that's good, but just because you know how to identify it, don't mean you know what to do with it.
That's the scouting report. Everybody got one. Even G. Bush got one.
Mike, what say you about this kid?
Listen, he's awesome. He's a personality that is. We saw Jaylon Tyson. DJ Burns' personality is even bigger, more gregarious.
We win the personality column in the draft. I don't think there's even any question about that.
His best asset is a passer. Now, it's interesting because
It is?
Kenny, yes.
Oh, he
He's
drops
a
dimes.
really good-
Yeah, but what was his assist average this year?
He averaged 3 this season at NC State. But for a big man in college where dudes are shooting like 27% from 3 as a team, I don't think you look at this. He's a really good playmaker. He only averaged 4 rebounds per game. He can't rebound a lick.
Which is surprising.
He can't jump.
I
he's
know,
lost,
but he's so
lost 45
big.
pounds.
You'd think that in a college game he could just
Yeah.
box out and grab boards.
He has really nice touch around the rim, too.
I like his touch.
Yeah.
I do think he has. When I watched him in the tournament, that's the one thing I noticed. I'm like, man, this dude's got really soft hands.
Mike,
Even
can I
at
ask you a question?
Winthrop, even at Winthrop, because he started at Tennessee,
Right.
redshirted, went to Winthrop, won Player of the Year in the Big South, never averaged more than 5.5 rebounds at Winthrop, as by far the biggest dude on the court. He's not a rebounder,
Wow.
which
All
I
right.
do think.
Will he have to be here?
I don't think you become a rebounder. You either kind of
Yeah.
have that or you don't.
But that's effort based. I mean, you can give effort.
It's effort based, but when you're 6'9" and you can't jump great like DJ Burns, and you're going
Right.
against 7-footers who can, it's tough. Now he can become a better He can become better at boxing out, and
Sure.
positioning, and all that. He can get better, but you see guys like Dennis Rodman, for example, just have an internal knack. They're always in the right spot at the right time.
And he's 40 feet long, and he had more
that's
effort than
not
anybody.
in his game. However, I do find it interesting that you said his touch was his best thing. I thought his passing was his
Okay.
best.
You
Touch
know
was
him better
good.
than I do. I just watched him in the
I mean,
tournament. That
it's
was
certainly
it.
not bad. I was impressed by he runs via Escalade, from the N1 mixtape.
Yes.
I know body shape and size
Oh,
is part of
baby.
that.
No, that's a
But,
good.
like,
That's a good
He
comparison.
does remind me a lot of that.
Escalade,
Kenny
like,
Atkinson with the Nets, and this is what excites me with Atkinson and Mobley, does like to utilize high post players as part of their facilitating point and the fulcrum of their offense at times. It's not the main thing
Right.
they do, but they have offensive sets where they utilize big men in those positions to pass the ball. I thought Mobley was underrated as a passer and didn't get used enough in those spots in JB Bickerstaff's offense. I'm curious if Kenny Atkinson uses him there. And DJ Burns, another guy from a quote-unquote big position who can help facilitate. So if you can't rebound at 6'9", 6'10", I don't know how much of a real NBA future you have, but I cannot wait to find out if he's improved and with his new physique. He's apparently lost 45 pounds.
That's what I
according to
heard,
reports.
40 pounds.
If now he can jump a little better and is a little more physical and agile to battle real bigs for
Well,
rebounds.
imagine taking a 40-pound backpack off and then jumping.
George Niang,
Now, I want to know this.
minivan.
if he
we
makes-
got a semi truck coming, minivan. You better get your life together. You better hit every shot. You better hit every 3-point shot this summer. I'm not playing around with you, George
I don't think
Niang.
George is too worried. If he makes the team, can we get G. Bush his jersey? Because my dream for the season is to see G. Bush on this set wearing his jersey. Would
we
you
can
do
make that
that?
happen. We can make that happen.
If he make the squad, I'll wear the jersey. Make the squad, bro. That's a big thing, bro. I mean, because look, it's going to be hard to make this squad. Like, I mean, he's going to have to hit like threes or something. Like, he can't be a non-shooter.
G, he made 1 3 in his college career.
See?
So he's got to learn how to shoot. That's another.
He got
He made it in the tournament, though. In the ACC championship game against North Carolina, he had his first career 3.
Yeah.
He must have just absolutely went nuts.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
He was crazy. He won the South Region most outstanding player.
Yeah.
He won the 2024 ACC Tournament MVP award. God. He has the accolades. He has the resume. Can he find a way to make it NBA
Do we give him a
roster?
nickname?
We got to figure that out, too. I'm going to ask AI.
I think he has one. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Does he have a nickname or not? I'm going to
We've
ask
got
AI.
Tugboat for the Guardians. Maybe he's Dump Truck. But if he's dropped 40 pounds,
G. Bush, you're going to love this.
What's up?
They call him Gen Zebo.
They call him what?
Gen Zebo. Like Zach Randolph?
Yeah.
so that's what you have to get on the back of the jersey.
Hey, I threw out Zach Randolph, right? Like, he's left-handed, I believe, too.
He
right?
is lefty.
Yeah.
All right.
He also, by the way, at NC State, he was on an interview a couple weeks ago, I heard. He bought vending machines and makes money and made money at NC State. He has like 7 vending machines around campus.
So he's an entrepreneur.
He's an entrepreneur as well. So I'm rooting.
You got to love that, G.
I'm
Bush.
rooting very
This
hard
is G.
for
Bush's
DJ
new
Burns.
favorite player.
Hey,
Does he have his own line of men's perfume?
I don't know yet, but G. Bush, that
Cologne.
could be the collab.
He ain't got that yet. I got mine. Mine's is there. Listen,
We got Gen
it's
Z
done,
and
too.
G-Bo.
It's finished. I'm just waiting to drop it.
Gen Z and G.
Hey, we got to have you.
do what we need.
Hey, McNuggets, we need all rookies before they get into the Cavs indoctrination. We need all
On the
rookies
show.
to come out here on the show. You know what you do. You right by Summer League. You're gonna be getting wall-to-wall coverage of the Olympics and Cavs Summer League right here on WKYC.
Bring him on. I'd love to have him in studio.
He is now him and Jaylon Tyson both actually have catapulted up my list of Cavs players I really want to get on the show. They are awesome, awesome personalities. And we got one more Cavs topic this morning after a quick word from Game Time. I've been to a bunch of Guardians games this year. They are awesome. The in-arena experience, or in-stadium experience, excuse me, is terrific at Progressive Field. And there's no easier way to get tickets than on the Game Time map. I've used it before. It makes it easy. They have all the best features possible, like last-minute deals, flash deals, zone deals, all in pricing. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, plus their lowest price guarantee. Make sure that you have the best and lowest price available, and if not, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. G. Bush, I'm glad you're here today because when I have specific topics that are meant just for you, you typically call out the next day. So I made sure to send a group chat text last night saying, G, there's going to be a topic in today's show that is designed for you. If you call out, I know something's up. And I'm glad you showed up.
Showed up today.
G, I asked 2 different NBA coaches this question. I'll tell you their answer at the end, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on this first.
Okay.
If Emoni Bates was in this year's draft, the one that just concluded yesterday, and not the 2022-2023 NBA draft, would he have been a first-round pick? G, the floor is yours.
Did you watch this draft? Did you see this draft? Like, these dudes was like regular. I mean, these guys. We played the name game, right? And McNuggets had guys that was scoring 5 and 6 points. That was mocked to the Cavs at 20. Of course, he would have been a first-round pick. So here's the thing too. I need to stop playing around too because people try to be acting like this Emoni Bates is just a nice little cute story that we laugh and joke about. If you ain't really seen him play, go back and check it. Like let's keep it real. Like go back and check him in high school. Check when he was the player of the year at 17 years old, right? Cover of Sports Illustrated. One of the things that happens when you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated is people get this inflated sense of now it's a target. Now it's like
the expectations get ratcheted way up.
They go to the ceiling. So you start to look at stuff like that, and then when it happens, like if you even compare, right? We got our guy that we drafted this year. We got Emoni Bates, right? You take a look at their resumes, right? Now, when you talk about Emoni Bates, the first thing they say is, oh, Memphis. Oh, he went to Memphis, couldn't cut it. He went to Eastern Michigan. He transferred 2 schools. They use it. They're like, oh, listen, he's immature, a lot of different things on and off the court. Kid this year, he transferred 3 times. He got into an altercation with a coach. Emoni Bates off the court stuff, right? But you say he wins the press conference. That's because it's all about the perception and reality that you come in with, right? And this kid...
Well, there were other issues, too, with the Monty.
What, with the gun?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's... You got to look at it like this. You got to understand where Memphis is. I completely understand.
I do understand where Memphis is. It seems like everybody that goes to Memphis to play sports needs a gun. And that may or may not be true, but still, to compare the two,
but here's what
you're
I'm saying.
leaving out one huge piece of that puzzle.
I know people that live in the city of Memphis, Young Dolph. I know people that live in the city of Memphis, Big Juke. I know people that are celebrities. They go to Memphis and they die. Like, it is no games, right? You're a 17, 18-year-old kid. Everybody know who you is. Extortion in the hood is always alive and well.
He chose to go there, G.
I get it. Listen, we choose to go a lot of different places, but when you're there, when you're in a situation...
I'm not going to Beirut on vacation.
Well, listen, there are some people that choose... That's why the United States has a visa list. They're like, listen, do not go to Egypt, do not go to Beirut, do not go to Iran, Iraq, a list of other places. Here's what I will say. When you talk about Emoni Bates' game, and when you go back and you watch his G League games, there's one thing that's heavily available right now is the fact that the man can shoot. The man has elite offensive ability. The man has an elite knack to make tough shots. I look at him not so much as like he's Kevin Durant. I look at him as like a J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was a guy who got drafted out of high school and never went to college, went to the Nuggets, and J.R. Smith was known as a guy like a head case. He got with LeBron, got to a place where people trusted in him, and they don't win a championship if it's not for J.R. Smith and his defense ability and ability to shoot. He's shown the ability to do that at a high level, and when you watch his games, just go pull it up. You'll see it. It's evident. He's able to make tough shots. I think this year, and the reason Emoni Bates didn't play wasn't anything that he did. He didn't play because they put the red shirt on him. And granted or whatever, the goal for Emoni Bates was I want to see if you can make it through. I want to see if you can manage your life. I want to see if you can manage your time, energy, money, do what you need to do, stay out of trouble.
And he did that for the most part. He did have one hiccup.
But he did that. He did that for the most part. And now it's like, okay, now I got an opportunity. Now it's game time. But we didn't want another Kevin Porter Jr.
Right.
Kevin Porter Jr. they drafted. He had a lot of things going on. He's now out of the league. They didn't want that happening. So I think Koby Altman put the red shirt on him. But make no mistake about it. The kid has elite ability to score the basketball, and just don't take it from me. Ask Gilbert Arenas.
Hey, listen, if Emoni Bates was in this year's draft, I think Emoni would have been a first-round pick, and he probably would have been drafted in the lottery. I think people need to stop acting like. I think people need to stop acting like at one point in time he was not the highest recruit ever coming out of high school. I think people need to stop acting like that Emoni Bates can't ball. I know G sit up and joke a lot about the Emoni Bates thing and whatever, but the truth of the matter is he's a 6'8" bucket getter. He has a lot of talent. Does he have a lot to learn? Yes. But the opportunities that he was given was few far in between, and he never really got a real chance to show what he can do on a pro level. I think that a lot of people try to use a lot of fancy words and terminology and, system this and IQ that and set this. But at the end of the day, man, this game is about buckets. And if Emoni Bates is a certified bucket getter and is willing to put in the work and got his head on straight, then he deserves our opportunity to show what he can do. I think, too, he was red-shirted because of Kevin Porter Jr. I think that was a situation that Koby Altman looked at
him slowly
and said, okay, I made this mistake. I have to learn from this. I can't do this the same way. Let's bring him along like real slow. He sat here with me, G, and I think McNuggets. We did an interview with Emoni Bates.
Yep.
And, I asked him about what he had to say about the naysayers who says he's never going to be anything. He told me, I know I'm a star. I know I'm going to be a star in this league one day. All I have to do is keep the main thing the main thing. If Emoni continues to do what he's been doing, work hard and keep the main thing the main thing, we got a future star in our hands. I really believe that.
I don't know about future star. That's a high bar.
It is.
But I think he can be a contributor, a regular contributor, and a really nice piece.
Zay, do you think he got star potential?
I thought he did. There are holes in his game.
Right.
And I'm being nice right now. Now, again, it comes back to who the head coach is. When you look at what we have now in an elite player development guy, Atkinson can, I think he's the right guy to get the most out of Emoni Bates.
I think he benefits Emoni. I think he benefits Evan Mobley. He benefits Craig Porter Jr. He benefits Jaylon Tyson, DJ Burns. So, based on how this roster is constructed, we keep talking about we don't have an athletic wing. We keep talking about we don't have the size and the perimeter shooting.
It's what
Emoni Bates fits the bill. And so, I want to see what Kenny Atkinson gets out of him. Are you guys concerned, though,
about his physical? He's slight, guys.
Well, I've seen him.
He is slight.
I've seen him on the internet. It looked like he didn't put on about 5 to 6 pounds.
I don't know, Mike. You've seen him in person. I think sometimes, because they used to say the same thing about Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant never gained any weight.
No, but
sometimes he's just. Some people are just tall and lanky like that.
No, I agree with you on that. I think Kevin Durant has a skill set, though, that allows him to get by with his frame. First of all, to answer the original question, yeah, he's a first-round draft pick, I think. I think just because the talent comparison from last year to this year is so stark, I don't think he's a lottery pick. I think he's a late first-round pick, perhaps an early second-round pick. I want to hear, Mike, what the coaches had to say on that, and I also want your evaluation on, can he be a star? I do think he can. I think he can have a long career in the NBA as a role guy that is a regular contributor I would love it if he ever gets to that star level. Wow, what a home run this is. But my bar for him is to be on the roster for a number of years and to become a guy that we can look to in key situations, and that includes playoff rotation, as a regular contributor, make this team better.
If you look at Emoni Bates' skill set and what he's good at, if those get maxed out, that is the makings of a star.
Okay.
A 6'9" shot creator who can shoot off the dribble, can shoot and catch and shoot situations, can create off the dribble for himself. Not passing still needs some work for sure. Like that's definitely not.
I don't even give him
not a strength in his game at the moment.
He doesn't pass.
Playmaking is not a strength of his game.
At the moment, that could always change. But you look at the attributes of a 6'9" guy who can score by himself. There's a lot of stars in the NBA that come from that same archetype.
I agree with
So if
that.
everything maxes out, Emoni Bates certainly could be a star.
Wow.
Will it happen? Who knows?
Can you do something for me? I don't know. You showed his G League numbers. Do we have his NBA numbers when he was up? I know they were
I
small
can tell
sample
you
size.
in 1 sec, yeah.
Like put up his G League numbers and then tell us what his NBA equivalent were for whatever stats that you put on that G. Because we know what the G League is. And we know that a player like him, and I don't want to say he's a selfish player, but he's about his, okay? He's going to get his when he's on the court, and there's not going to be a lot of ball movement from him to other players when he's out there.
But you need a couple guys like that. Lou Williams is a guy like that. 6 men off the bench. Jamal Crawford. Sometimes Vinny in the microwave. You need sometimes instant offense. If you go back and watch the Cavs, there are times when you're trying to bring one of the Morris twins off the bench to give you something. We talk about we need shooting and spacing. Sometimes you need a guy to come in and be like, oh, listen, I'm open today. Like that's the type of time you want.
So what were his equivalents?
I mean, he played 15 games.
Right?
He technically averaged 8.9 minutes per game, but that completely varied. Some games he actually played, and other games he came in the last minute. He averaged 2.7 points, 0.9 rebounds, 0.7 assists. He averaged 3.3 shot attempts per game, shot 30.6% from the floor, and on 2.2 three-point attempts per game, he shot 30.3%. Impossible to get into a rhythm.
But I know it is. But when you're the arc that you speak of, before you become a star, you have to maximize and contribute in the minutes you're on the floor. What really jumps out at me is the lack of sharing the ball and the field goal percentage. What was his field goal percentage?
In the NBA or the G League?
NBA.
30.6.
That's red flags all over.
I mean, how many games did he play?
I think he played like 15.
15.
I was at the first game he played, I think when we played the New York Knicks on Halloween. I was at that game, and if I'm not mistaken, the minutes he got was after the Knicks was already blowing us out, right?
Okay, so what that means, though, is he's playing likely against their second team.
But at the same time, like, I don't remember him getting many touches during that stretch.
Yeah,
And it's
I don't
not
remember
like
the individual games. I just remember anecdotally when I think
I
of
just
him,
know you say, like,
I think he
Jay-
missed a lot of shots.
I know you say, like, he has holes in this game, and he does, but I think any player that's 18, 19, then been in college for a year or two,
I get it.
9 times out of 10, they do have holes in their game. The Cavaliers handled him whichever way they thought was best last year. J.B. Bickerstaff didn't give him many meaningful opportunities to develop as an NBA player. My thing is this. If you don't get an opportunity to learn how to be a pro in real time, going against other pros in real situations, then your development is being stunted a little bit. And so it goes back to Kenny Atkinson. I'm not sure what the Emoni Bates situation will look like this year with him on the Cavs roster.
Yeah.
But if he has a full contract and he's on this roster and coaches actually take time to develop him, I really believe he can reach his potential of being a star. Now, to your point, the floor, a serviceable role player. The ceiling, a star player. Either way, the Cavaliers will take that.
And the way he plays in
they
his
love the star
game.
player.
And listen, here's why the G League stuff translates, right? You watch his game. The basket's 10 feet, right? When you see him pulling up, these are guys that are in his face. And it's like, oh, that's going down.
Yeah, but it's not NBA defense.
But a shot hand is a shot hand. Like, if your hand is here.
Mike, am I overstating this? The defenses that he sees in the NBA are dramatically different. Just in the G League, it's like every man for himself. Everybody's out gathering stats.
He averaged 19.8 points per game in the G League. Where do you think that ranked in the G League?
I'd say very, very high.
G, what do you think?
Actually, you know what? Their numbers are really wonky. I remember looking at them once.
At one point in time, he was like the top 3 scorer in the G League.
I'm going to say top 7.
G, what do you say? 19.8 points. Where do you think that ranks in the G League?
Probably 15th.
Jay?
I don't think that high.
29th.
Yeah.
So he's not pull. Like, here's the thing. Here's what we got to get to, right? We can sit here and we can say that, he has holes in his game, but George Niang is a one-trick pony, and we put him out there. We continue to put him out there. And Max Strus didn't hit shots the whole year. We continue to run him out here. See, 6'4". He's supposed to be a shooter. At the end of the year, Sam Merrill didn't make no shots ever, and he's a defensive liability. So my thing is, yes, he has liability. He has different things that he needs to work on.
But Merrill had some moments where
he
was one of the hottest shooters in the league for a stretch.
But Merrill was given the opportunity.
He got the opportunity to show that.
But in total, he played probably 120 minutes.
Who?
Emoni Bates.
I could tell you exactly.
Probably 100, maybe 130 minutes.
I mean, but
that's
almost out of all the raw guys that we talked about, raw talent guys that we talked about last year, Sam Merrill and Craig Porter Jr. was the only two that really got true significant opportunities to show what they had to do.
Yeah, but I would argue till the cows come home that in the 120 or 30 minutes that we saw him, I didn't see anything that told me we need to see more of this.
Okay, let me give you this.
Now, I'm just being honest, guys.
Well, listen. Hey, go back, watch the Atlanta Hawks preseason game.
And I don't even really want to give a lot of credence to that.
But that's NBA players, right?
It is NBA players, but come on, it's preseason. I'll give you a million examples of guys that played NFL preseason games and looked like they were MVPs and didn't make the club.
So what I'm saying to you is, when you look at this opportunity, the dude played, how many games is it in a year?
82 games.
82.
He played in 15.
He played in 15 of the 80 something. Like, that's like saying a pitcher is garbage because he got hit hard in 2 starts. No.
Well, I got to see more than 2 starts, and I think we did.
I mean, he didn't start.
To a baseball equivalent, that would be for a pitcher to get 30 appearances. If you're a bullpen guy and you get 30 appearances, that's okay.
Well,
that's a lot of opportunity for me to see what you can do.
G, to your point, real quick, he played more than 10 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 5 of the 15 games, he played more than 10 minutes. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, he played less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, now those I would say, I don't want to look at those heavily. The other thing, too, is in those games, he was likely playing against the second team.
And that's what I was saying earlier. Those 15 games, if you look at those games, 4 or 5 games, he played 10 minutes plus. The other games, he played no more than 5 minutes throughout the season.
Right.
And then, depending on what's going on in the game, he's not getting opportunity to really be efficient.
Do you think he'll get more minutes next year with Kenny Atkinson? You do?
I really do.
I think he will, too. I think he will, too, particularly early in the year. But I think my whole point here is it's not like we didn't see him. We saw him. When I saw him, if I'm just being honest and I'm saying, is this a guy I need to see more of, it was easy for me to say, not right now. Maybe not ever, but not right now.
I beg to differ. You go watch them Summer League games. You go watch the G League games that he played in. They didn't give him really opportunity. My thing is this. Sam Merrill played a whole lot, a bunch. Beginning of the season to end, Craig Porter Jr. played a lot. What we're saying is Emoni Bates did not play that level of minutes. He didn't get that opportunity. We're not saying that he won't get it now because guess what? All of them get a shot. You start over brand new. Kenny Atkinson is in there. You got an opportunity. If Emoni Bates is listening, go prove it to the new coach. Because now everything starts over. You got to make an impression. You got to play ball. Everybody got to play ball. But I agree that I think that he did not get the opportunity he deserved. That was last year. This is this year. It's a new game. I think he will get more.
I know we talked about the things that he went through off the court, but, for him to be a teenager, to go through those things, he told us during that interview, he said, he believes the adversity he went through early on in life is going to make him a better man as he goes forward. And sometimes the mistakes made and the consequences that you have to suffer, some people don't do that until they hit their 30s and 40s. And it's kind of harder to bounce back and recover when you make some of those mistakes later on in life. I just think this is a young man that's attempting to grow up, attempting to mature, attempting to grow his game, and he really believes that he can be a star. And again, he said, if I keep the main thing, everything that I believe will come true. All you need is an opportunity, and I hope the Cavs give him that opportunity.
I hope he gets the opportunity, too, because you do got to find out what you have.
Yeah.
The equivalent that I would give for him is like a Kyle Manzardo. Kyle Manzardo's numbers in AAA absolutely demand that he be a major leaguer. They demand it. Mm-hmm. He's not just hitting AAA pitching. He is slaughtering AAA pitching. I would say Kyle and his presence in his minor league is more dominant than Emoni was in the G League. And we saw Kyle come up and he got a month. And I'm not saying by any means am I saying, okay, that experiment's over.
Yeah.
But we saw it for a month and it wasn't it. And now he's back in the minor leagues. Now, my true hope is for Emoni Bates, because you said his ceiling is a star.
If you max out the
I don't even need him to be a star. I don't. I need him to be a serviceable, role-filling contributor that the Cavs can rely on in part of their playoff rotation. You mentioned some guys, the guys they brought in last year in Strus and Yang. They're specialists. They do certain things really, really well. What is the thing that he does that is exceptional? And
shoot off the dribble, shoot off the catch.
But when we saw that in the NBA, we just didn't see that. He shot 30% from the field. I can't call a 30% shooter an exceptional shooter.
It's a very small sample size.
I'll give you that. Let's end it this way. We need to see more.
So I asked two coaches. I simply texted them, if Emoni Bates was in this draft class, not last year, is he a first-round pick? These are the two answers I got from an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference coach. The first coach said he might have been a borderline first this year.
Which is what I thought.
And then Coach 2 says probably goes higher than he did last year.
But didn't commit to first or second round.
First or second.
All right. And that's what I think. That's exactly what I said. I think he would be perhaps high-end, a late first round. Worst case, he would be an early second round.
Mike, let me ask you. I said he would possibly be a lottery pick. Is that pushing it?
That's too high.
When you compare this year's class and the level of talent plus potential, is it far-fetched to say he would have been a lottery pick?
I mean, I just asked two NBA coaches, and they said...
I'm just your opinion.
I don't think he would have been a lottery pick, no.
Yeah.
No. First-round pick, definitely in play. Lottery pick, I do not think so.
It's probably better
jump
for him that he wasn't, too.
Big
Because
jump
with
from
that
49 to
comes
a lot.
even more expectations. I like the fact that the Cavs did one very smart thing this year. They kept him under the radar, and probably because the Porter experiment went so sideways. But I like what they're doing with him. And I like what he said. Did someone send in our text group last week his sort of montage message video on social media? Was that in our text group, or was that in one that I have going with guys upstairs at Channel 3?
Not sure.
I saw a video from Emoni Bates where he's kind of talking about the process and the whole thing. I like what he's doing. I like that he stayed out of trouble for the most part.
He's handling it the right way.
He's handling it the right way. And I am rooting for this kid as hard as anybody can root for someone. Because you talked about he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in high school. The one thing I don't think we give LeBron James enough credit for is the fact that this man was put on the cover at 16 and never did anything but deliver. He was an A-plus citizen. He's an A-plus father. He's been arguably one of the greatest to ever do it. And he had all the pressure that someone can have on him at that age. And he didn't fold. And what the reasons kid actors go sideways is because they're told their whole life they're the greatest thing ever. Mm-hmm. And there's high expectations that they can't live up to. Next thing you know, they're doing drugs and they're in the gutter somewhere. That never happened to LeBron James.
Home Alone was my favorite movie series.
look at that poor kid.
That was my favorite movie series.
We're going to talk a little guards now, guys. You know I love sports. I love them so much that I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games, and the sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and the official sportsbook of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It was a 2-1 loss for the Guardians yesterday, but they did sign Matthew Boyd to help boost the rotation. Earl G. Are you guys hearing an audio delay? Do you guys hear that?
No, I'm not.
We're hearing it back here.
You mean mix minus?
Nope, it's fixed now. Nope,
Okay.
it's all good.
Yep, all right.
Okay, Guardians lost 2-1. They signed Matthew Boyd. What's your big takeaway from what we heard and learned from the Guardians on Thursday?
Hey, they took a flyer on a dude.
That's what it is.
Took a flyer. See
Yeah.
what he talk about. Like, hey, look, at this point, Guardians this is the pre-move, right? Like, okay, let's see if we can get a little something
That's
out of this.
exactly what I was going to say.
Pre-move.
This is the warm-up act.
Right. Before they say, we really got to go in. You got me going in my stash now. You got me going in my big bank account. I got to go up top. That's what they doing. They could kick the tires on this move, see what he got, give him a couple starts, maybe see where he fits in the rotation. I think they signify something, though. It signifies if you're talking about a big bat in the right field or trying to get more hitting, I think they've signified that they're more on the lines. We need some more pitching. Carrasco, when you watch him, McKenzie, when you watch him, even Allen. Allen is every other start. He can get hit hard or he pitches really great. So when you got three of those guys coming, and you got Gavin Williams who hasn't had to start yet, so he may have a setback at some point. Now
Don't say that.
Don't
say
knock
that.
on wood. They need some pitchers. They need some arms. I think this is the warm-up, the prelude to them really going after some pitching down the stretch.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like when I seen his name, I remember seeing him pitch for the Nationals more so than I did in Detroit. But
Right.
This is a dude that, he was decent, got some stuff, and you're taking a flyer on a guy who's had some success. This front office has shown that they know how to identify talent more often than not. And when you take a flyer on a guy like this, it's addressing it. You're doing something to try to address the issue. And the issue is we've had lackluster starting pitching for the majority of the season, whether it be to injury or just bad performance. So you get a guy like in here, see what he can do for you. It reminds me of the Ben Lively situation, to be totally honest with you.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, a guy that when we got him into our organization, we didn't know what we really had. It was a guy that, okay, if we really need you, hopefully it's still something in the tank that you can deliver. And he's been more than phenomenal since he's had his opportunities to show what he can do. So I trust Antonetti and them guys to make sure that they are handling their business.
I feel like this move is about innings and eating innings.
Mm-hmm.
You look at, when the season starts, you look at your bullpen as 4 tires, and you're constantly checking the rubber on those tires. Do we have good tread? Where are we? And you gauge that throughout the season. The first quarter of the season, their usage was incredibly high. Starters weren't going deep into games. They still really haven't stretched out much. They really haven't.
Nope.
It's funny, you guys really stole almost all of my lines. This is the warm-up act, for sure. This is not like, okay, we're good, let's go.
No.
Order your playoff tickets. Not even close. This is a need that Stephen Vogt had to have addressed. It gives him a little bit of a safety net when it comes to pitching. Tristan, shaky. Cookie, although good his last 2 times out,
Getting hit hard.
shaky.
Though. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the home run, it drives me nuts. He's missing on the fat part of the plate, and these guys, the other night, he gave up all the solo shots. It's like he's pitching well, and then he just inexplicably throws cookies that are like center cut fillets, and you know what happens when you do that to big league pitchers. So I think Matthew Boyd is a Band-Aid. It's a in case I need you, break glass. So he's not going to be thrown into the rotation unless Cookie or Tristan or somebody has to go on the extended IL. But I also was going to say this is Ben Lively part 2. Here's what I like about the move. It's a real flyer because he just had elbow reconstruction. Mm-hmm. So, and by the way, this move is pending a past physical, and I don't know that he's passed it yet. I haven't seen that he has.
I have not seen anything that officially confirms he has passed or unpassed.
And it's not unlikely for that caveat to be written in because he's coming off UCLR. When you have that surgery, you're almost working with a new arm. It's like a new engine gets dropped into a car. So the body is the same.
Let me ask you about
but the power plant is different.
Let me ask you about the physical. Does he need to actually throw the baseball in a simulated setting?
They'll likely
bullpen?
give him an MRI. They may take ultrasound images.
But he does not have to physically throw the baseball without signs of.
I would imagine that the team has already seen him do that. I mean, before you're not going to buy a car without going to look at it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what the process was before they signed him. I would imagine that there was a workout. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that was the case. But the physical will tell all of them. The thing that you don't want if you're the Guardians right now is another elbow injury.
Yeah.
Gavin Williams is in the wings. And he's coming, and we're going to talk more about Gavin Williams. We're going to do that later. But I like the move. I don't hate it by any stretch of the imagination. But, I hope that the Guardians don't sit back now and say, okay, now we're loaded for bear. Because they're not.
Because look, hey, I say that at the time when the Guardians played the Orioles, the Guardians, when they won that series, I said they're the best team in the American League, right? At this point in time. The problem is I still keep seeing Aaron Judge hit these grand slams. I still see the Orioles in their lineup, and I'm like, dang, they got power all the way through their lineup like that. They're gonna need some arms.
I look at two things. I look at the standings and the records. And I also look at how teams match up against one another.
Right.
And the Yankees have a favorable matchup against the Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So even though I would say that the Guardians are right there with them in terms of winning percentage and their record, I've seen them in a series, and I saw enough to say decidedly Yankees have an advantage. We have holes that they do not.
Yeah.
And we have to address those holes. We all know what they are. It's funny, last week I talked about how our order flips at 6, and you can't flip it at 6. You can maybe flip it at 8 or 9. You can't flip it at 6. After I said that, the 7, 8, 9 guys went on absolute rips.
I should have texted you.
Arias is
I'm watching the game saying, holy hell. I was just kicking dirt on these guys, and all of a sudden, Bo Naylor's added 30 points to his batting average. Rocchio, Freeman, you see signs of these guys
Gabriel
breaking
Arias
out.
is looking like the
Arias looks like he's a baller all of a sudden again. So the problem is, though, the last 2 games, the beef bats have been silent.
Very, very silent.
We're going to need these guys to carry them because all of that, when you do get production out of 7, 8, 9 that's unexpected, that's a bonus. And you're going to win 9-8 games.
Yeah.
You're going to win 8-6, 8-4, 8-2. But the 2-1 games, you've got to have your big bats performing in those games. And they didn't in the last game against Baltimore, and they didn't yesterday.
And the problem they got is the big 3. They got Naylor, Ramirez, and Kwan. If one of those 3 go into a slump, it's all of a sudden hard to get runs now.
It is.
Especially if Kwan's not on base.
Kwan now, I don't even know what we should call it a slump because he's still getting hits. But he was 1 for 5 yesterday. His average is down to 373.
He had his longest hitless streak of the season. It was 8 bats.
Yeah, that's insane.
8 at bats.
And so I just wanted to throw this out there. We had the 400 conversation last week. I thought it was ludicrous. I don't know why we even went there.
It's officially dead.
Tyvus gets so excited. Tyvus is like a kid at Christmas.
I got a text.
He's going to do it. He's going to hit 400.
Because I was out, and then the next Monday, I come on the show talking the same thing. I got a text, man, you and Tyvus done lost y'all damn mind.
Yeah, no one's hitting 400 in today's game. It's just not going to happen. Not for a full season. And, if you think about it, his march to 400 is as good a chance as you can have because he missed a month. He's still going to qualify with the number of at-bats. But you're not going to do it over 6 months. Maybe you can do it over 5 months. Maybe.
And now it feels like them at bats is creeping up on him because now, like, guess what? More of a sample size.
That's right. And he's regressing to the mean.
The UCSS omen is real. We're sitting here talking about him regressing to the mean. Stephen Kwan is going to go on a 20-game hitting streak next.
Let's do it. Come on, Stephen. We're here for it.
This is how it happens, right?
Yeah.
We should sit up here and talk about how the Guardians ain't throwing no hitter and God knows how long.
Yeah,
so
let's
we can
do
go
that
out
every
there
day.
and throw a no hitter.
Let's open every single UCSS show by saying it's been 10,462 days since the Guardians threw their last no-hitter.
Anytime we kind of like throw some dirt or some shade at any Guardians player this season, they come back and they ball out. So
you're right. Jeez.
All right, guys, we've talked Cavs, we've talked Guardians. It's time to talk Browns, but first, if you're looking to get tickets to a Browns game, a Guardians game, a Cavs game, a concert, whatever the case may be, there's no better place to get it online than the Game Time app. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball in particular, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. And the best part about Game Time, the prices actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. It's such an easy app to use. My dad even figured it out back in New Jersey, and he's not a tech guy whatsoever, so if he can figure it out, I'm sure you guys can. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. J. Earl, we've talked a lot about the Browns in anticipation for the 2024 season and what would be considered a successful campaign for the Browns. So my question to you guys today is, if the Browns win one playoff game in 2024, is that enough to be considered a successful season in your eyes? One playoff win. Is that enough, Earl?
Not even close.
Not even close. I was going to say a successful season ends with MJ Emerson winning Defensive Player of the Year. But in all seriousness, I think a successful season for the Cleveland Browns is an appearance in the AFC Championship game.
That's my bar, too.
I think that this roster is damn good. It's one of the best rosters in the NFL. I think continuity has been there. The chemistry is strong. The culture is strong. I think that, the contract extensions is out the way. We've proven that we can overcome injury, et cetera. For me, AFC Championship game. This team has the coach, has the personnel, has the roster. They have everything that they need to make this run.
You said the contract extensions are out of the way. Did I miss Amari Cooper?
Except for Amari.
Oh, okay.
Except for Amari.
It's possible.
I was thinking the head coach of the GM. I forgot. Amari got to get some money.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I forgot about Amari. He got to go get some money. But
good.
I think AFC Championship game should be.
What's your bar? For at the end of it, you could say this was a success.
Well, listen, I need at least 4,500 from Watson.
No, I know that.
No. I'm gonna start. That's the preface. That's just off bat. 4,500. I just need that. That's just bare minimum. We already talked about that. Now let's get to these team goals. I'm gonna go and say, man, I need a Super Bowl, bro. I mean, AFC, I need a Super Bowl, bro.
Super Bowl appearance or win?
Appearance. They got to be in that.
So if they lose in the AFC final,
I'm going to be salty.
20-19,
I mean,
it was a fail.
Because Harrison Buckner.
I know. At some point, and here's the thing, the way I think about it.
Watch it play out that way now.
At some point, some point you just got to do it. Like, I don't believe in steps, right? I don't believe in like, oh, you take this step and then you take this step. Sometimes in your life, you got one opportunity to do something. Seize the moment. So it ain't gonna be a natural progression. Life is chutes and ladders. You ain't got to go.
Man, I'm feeling like Eminem speech right now,
bro. I
like that.
You might not ever get back there again. The Oklahoma City Thunder should have had 10 titles. They won 0 together. I need to be in that Super Bowl. I ain't talking about AFC Championship game. Please do what you need to do. I ain't trying to be the Baltimore Ravens, and that's why it's imperative that the Browns have to have home field advantage.
I like your aggressive thinking. I'm going to try to be objective here and put myself into a space that's the last week of January. And if the Browns just lost in the AFC Championship game, I'm going to call that a success. Now, it's not what I want. Nobody wants to, be in the top 4.
I might cry.
Listen, there will be a lot of reasons to cry. Because that's as far as this team has ever made it was the AFC
And
Championship
especially the
game.
way they do it.
In the Super Bowl era.
If they like choke it away, we're going to be hot.
We're going to be hot, but when the embers cool and you can pick them up in your hand, because, of course, the Monday after the AFC title game, we're going to sit here and we're all going to have bloodshot eyes, and it's going to be real dusty in here, and we're going to have to think about, again, what could have been. And that will be a very, very big disappointment. All of that being said, I am trying to be as objective and realistic with the expectations for this team as I possibly can. Yes, we have a deep roster. Yes, we have the contracts out of the way. But we also have perhaps the second best player on our roster as a big question mark in Nick Chubb. We also have a quarterback who we're waiting for Houston Deshaun to get here. We thought he got here last year and then he got hurt. I need to see that for 3 or 4 games before I say, oh, there he is. That's him. That's it. That's the guy. That's why we broke the bank. That's why we gave up our draft picks. I need to see that.
You see why I said 4,500?
Keeper's like, yeah, 4,500 in Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm trying to be realistic, and I'm trying to be as objective as I can. There are some really, really, really good teams in our conference.
Lots.
And in our division.
AFC is loaded.
And so I can't look at it as the Browns in a vacuum, bubbled off from everything else. I have to look at it that in our division, within the last 3 years, we have a team that went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. We have a quarterback who looks like he's getting fit for an MVP suit. We have another quarterback who just got his MVP suit.
The second one.
His second one. And so, and by the way, I haven't brought up the best team in the division yet, or in the conference, in Kansas City. So, I mean, I'm trying to keep it as real and objective as I can. And I would be happy if they make it to the AFC Championship game this year.
But, you know, I tweeted this a while ago, Mike, and you remember this. This is the first time as a fan that I can look at this team, look at this roster, and knowing how strong the AFC is, knowing how strong the AFC North is, and don't give a damn about
I know
who
you
we
keep
play.
saying that, but I do.
Like, I am that confident in this roster and this coaching staff and the continuity. A lot of these dudes has been together 4
Let me
seasons
ask you that.
plus.
Okay, so
And I think all of that matters.
What addition from last season to this season put you in that space?
What addition?
Yeah.
Another year.
It can't just be we're running back the same team.
But here's the difference between
Baltimore got better.
Here's the difference between I think Baltimore got worse.
I don't know.
I think they got worse. They lost offensive linemen. They lost Patrick Queen. They lost their defensive
No,
coordinator.
let's address the offense though.
But I still, if I look at their playmakers on offense, I'm taking the Browns playmakers over theirs.
Goodness.
Over theirs. They got Derrick Henry.
You're taking Zay Flowers over
I'm taking
Amari Cooper?
am I taking Zay Flowers over Amari? I'm taking Amari over Zay.
Easy.
Easily.
Guys, Zay
Yeah,
Flowers.
I still think Amari's above Zay.
Zay Flowers is on the brink of superstar.
No, he is.
Guys.
He is.
Superstar.
But that's all they got.
Amari Cooper has never been a superstar. He's been a star.
I mean, Zay Flowers ain't did what Amari Cooper did.
Okay, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. Who you taking?
I mean, of course you can
I'm
take
taking
Lamar
Lamar.
Jackson at that point.
A dinged up Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry?
I'm taking Chubb. I'm riding with 24.
You might have me on that one.
I'm riding with 24.
Just because in Chubb I trust. I can never not vote for Nick Chubb.
And at some point, we are here to come to the prom to dance. We ain't trying to be outside with the punch.
Andrews or Njoku?
Give me Njoku. Woo! Give me Njoku, man. We already know what my
Cleveland Kool-Aid is
By the
flowing
way,
tonight.
but I didn't say they
I
said.
think it's pretty damn close.
It's close. It is
across
close.
across the board.
But I'm still going to go with
pretty damn
Andrews.
close.
They
I'm still going to go. But I love Njoku and what he did last
Somebody
year.
said that we got a top 3 roster, and that's over the Chiefs, right? I thought we just did that. Did we
He has
just
a
do that?
33rd team, put them as the 3rd best roster in the NFL, the best in the AFC.
Now I've also heard.
Offense, flashy or juicy?
I'll tell you why
What
they
you
don't
got?
get there. King Dorsey is the reason that upgrade is happening. The upgrade will happen because now they are playing a style of football that everybody else is playing.
Juicy.
Yes. I don't know if I can say as a grown man about another grown man's playbook. Like, I don't know. Like,
Well, they did.
Think about how crazy that is. Hey, man, I heard Ken Dorsey's package is juicy. Come on, bro. Pause.
Well, when you put it that way, it's a major pause.
I mean.
In fact, I think we just lost our internet license.
The package, the robust package.
Who was the offensive player that said the offense is juicy?
Shinjoku.
Juicy Njoku.
Hey, you can't. Hey,
Juicy.
Hey, can we retract that statement? I think we need to retract.
Ain't no dump button on live TV, man.
No, you know what's crazy is though, after we heard that, and I brought it up on the show last week, I said, God, this is like the third straight year where the hyperbole is flying around like you're in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's
because remember 3 years ago, you haven't seen an offense that looks like this.
So you asked me,
and we actually have.
What's different?
we did.
Like he said, Ken Dorsey is the biggest addition. I'm gonna tell you though.
That's a good answer.
But to me, I think like maybe it's not an addition. This is just how I look at it. Last season, the Browns went through so much adversity.
Maybe it's just their time.
Starting to 5 different quarterbacks, overcoming all kind of injuries to other positions, dealing with the off the field stuff when it comes to us in the media.
And made it to
trying
the
to
divisional
wonder, if everybody's on the same page with Watson, Stefanski, and Barry, etc. They overcame all of that. They took home 5 awards at the NFL Honors. They made it to the playoffs in a year to where after week 6, they could have gave up and said, the hell with this. Then you look at the offseason and you look at every single ranking list. The head coach, the DBs, the running backs, everybody is being disrespected. It's another list out here ranking the top 100 players for the 2024 season. One Cleveland Brown is on it. Me and you talked about this, Jay, off the record. When you know you've overcome so much and you continue to be disrespected, that lights a different fuel up under your fire.
But for every disrespect article, there's a 33rd team that's
the
ranks
first
the
one
Browns
I've seen.
number 3 in roster.
I don't know
in the
about
NFL.
y'all. That's the first one. I seen a article or a ranking yesterday that got the Browns linebacker group top 10. Threw me for a loop. But those are the only 2 that I've seen. But for the most part, like we continue to be disrespected. Even when we prove it, we feel like we got to prove it some more because we are the Browns.
I will say this, Jay. Sometimes we talk about the disrespect and people doubt you out. Listen. This is the NFL. They don't care nothing about that. Like adversity, everybody get hurt.
Everybody's dealing with
everybody gonna get hurt.
Look at Jacksonville and their last 2 years. What's happened to them?
You are not promised nothing. Like you people will say what you want, but you get an opportunity. It's about, to me, it's execution and understanding the moment. If you are it's the fourth quarter and you need to make a play, are you making that play? Is Deshaun Watson going to give us a throw? Is Myles Garrett going to get the sack? Is we going to be able to stop teams? They had some of those moments. They had those moments against the 49ers. They had some of those great moments against the Bengals. Not so much in the playoffs. My goal is to win the trophy, and we brought 4 here to be the reason that we got it done. Because we told ourselves that we got that. We had a great roster when Baker was here, when 6 was here. But what did we say? We understood that we don't think you can do it. At some point, I need them plays, and I need 4 to be like, oh, I made one more play than Patrick Mahomes.
It will be a meteoric jump if you go from no playoff wins in 23 to the Super Bowl in 20.
That's the NFL, though. You know what I mean?
Well, but usually not as much as the NBA. In the NBA, it's all about steps and progression.
NFL is the NFL is real.
It's rare that a team you can go worst to first in your division, but it's rare where you're a non-factor in the playoffs one year and you're in the Super Bowl the next. There's usually a slow ascension to the top. We've seen it in the past. Cincinnati kind of came out of nowhere,
Buffalo,
but haven't been able to prove that a second time. Well, Buffalo hasn't made it to a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. Like
so Buffalo kind of takes those steps. Baltimore, we've seen that Baltimore and individually Lamar Jackson, they're taking steps and they're getting further.
The Texans
it's their turn to go to a Super Bowl.
The Texans popped last year. They got a bunch of rookies and a rookie head coach. They just jumped.
But you know what? Let's see if they pull a Jacksonville this year.
Yeah, they can fall.
Because Jacksonville was Houston 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a young quarterback that seemingly figured it out, and they were everybody's pick the next year to win the division. And what happened? They were in the catbird seat. And they absolutely got drunk the last 4 games of the year.
But I want to ask everybody. I want to ask everybody individually, right? If Deshaun Watson was on the Browns roster and was playing like he played against the Ravens.
Oh, well then, yeah, this is a deep playoff run team. Deep.
See, so if you would have took him and put him on that roster, where you had Flacco against the Texans, I think it's a completely different game.
But do you want to use my if line?
Well, it's if it was the fifth, we all be drunk.
And if your grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike.
And if your grandma was hot, no, right.
No,
Don't go there, bro.
That was crazy.
That is a
Super pause.
That is a great place to pivot and tell you the results of our poll and our super chats before we
with
head
the
over to
gray hairs?
WKYC.
Yo.
We asked the chat, is one playoff win enough in 2024 for it to be considered a successful season in their eyes? And 86% said no, we need more than a playoff win. Yeah. Got a couple super chats to wrap up the WKYC YouTube edition of our show before we head over to WKYC TV channel. And we have two different super chatters today. The first is our guy Rahul from India. And he says, hey team, Rahul here, your fan from India. Two things. One, India is in the Cricket World Cup final. Please support. And two, baseball is weird. Why is the ball that takes edge of bat I'm going to read this word for word. I'm trying to help him and make this make a little more sense, but let's see if you guys can figure it out. Baseball is weird. Why is ball that takes edge of bat, catcher catches it, isn't out? Why is it a ball?
What the hell?
Is he asking a foul tip?
If you foul,
Who sent that in? What?
Our biggest fan from India. So
Wait, so why is a ball that tips off the edge of the bat and caught by the catcher an out?
Isn't an out.
It isn't out if it's strike three.
Yeah.
If it's strike one or strike two, the ball has to be over the catcher's head, meaning a pop up. Like you can pop out to the catcher. Mm-hmm. You can't foul tip out to the catcher unless it's strike three.
Good clarification.
You know what? And that's probably one of those things
good question.
that if you live in India and you're used to cricket,
and
you're watching baseball and you see these kind of things, another one might be, and I think this just happened in the Guardians game the other night. If a catcher drops a third strike,
that's the third to first
the
base.
player can run to first, and if he beats the catcher's throw, he stays at first base.
Rahul also says, typo. Also, the World Cup final is tomorrow morning. U.S. Team have to look. Baseball fans will love it. So if you want to see some good cricket, the World Cup final is tomorrow.
It's the world's most popular
sport. Our guy
sport.
Kevin Kojanic, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Kocjancic, Kojanic, has two super chats. Says, first, I love Jaylon Tyson's confidence. Shooting for the stars, I want that. Won't hit either goal, but could be a legit contributor from the jump and only get better. Go Cavs. And then he also sent, don't see Boyd pitching until the end of July, early August, but we need innings, and I think he can provide it. Yeah. Makes me optimistic some other moves are coming, so we appreciate the super chats. And we're going to see you guys on WKYC in 2.5 minutes.
See you there.
Peace.